Hi, George Lianos here from 8 Days a Week Performance Coaching. Welcome to our website and thanks for your interest in seeing how we may work together in improving the performance of your people and your processes. If you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for training, consulting, then perhaps you've come to the right place. I'm sure you know, just providing a good product or service is not enough to ensure success. It's the relationships that you form that are the foundation for that success. With that in mind, I'm very proud to say we've spent about 2.75 years per client engagement over the past 6 years, during which time we've helped our clients grow themselves and their teams to improve performance in safety, also in productivity and efficiency, and, not surprisingly, their happiness at work. This all leads to stronger business outcomes and a clearer future direction. Before we start, let me tell you a story about why I'm drawn to improving performance in general in the workplace, and in particular the resource sector workplace. I've seen and experienced some things I did not like in how people are managed, and I found that many things that were successful for me and that I took for granted as a manager of people were in fact foreign to many resource sector managers, as was the enjoyment that I found working with people that were trusted and respected. My story begins some 15 years ago as Chief Executive Officer of a not-for-profit company, when I led a team of incredibly passionate and highly effective people in delivering outcomes to the communities of New South Wales. For those of you who are not sure, New South Wales is one of the major states here in Australia, with Sydney as its capital. Well, I'm sure you've heard of Sydney. Among many other things, the home of the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge and the 2000 Olympic Games. For your information, our offices are located some 2 hours north of Sydney in the magnificent region known as the Hunter Valley, famous for its wines, its mines, its lines, that is power generation, and equines, or horse studs. Oh yeah, and of course, performance coaches. However, back to the not-for-profit story. At our peak, as one of the premier providers of community services in Australia, we won a major contract with one of the big 4 global mining houses in the valley to provide what was euphemistically termed outplacement services. That was over 3,000 people who were soon not to be working in the coal mining sector locally. The coal sector was on another one of those cyclic downturns, and rationalisation was the order from above. Given that the region's population at the time was around 60,000, you can imagine the impact this would have on our communities, on our households, and people, with a rapid increase of over 5% in the unemployment rate bearing down on us like a cyclone about to tear the region apart. The full story of what my team did and what was created from that monumental event is an epic story in itself, and I may tell it in full sometime in the future. For now, imagine being one of the managers in this turbulent time, which incidentally lasted for over 3 years. You find yourself being put in the unwelcome position of having to tell people in your crew that they'd no longer be required, while at the same time knowing that potentially someone would be given the task of telling you that you no longer had a job. How would you face this task as a supervisor? What personal strengths and relationship skills would you draw on? How would you handle verbal and, unfortunately, sometimes physical abuse? And what would you learn about yourself, especially when, as it did for many, it came your time to receive your black bag and your exit notice? I personally worked with over 100 middle managers who were in this position. I got to know many of them pretty well, and to this day I still stop for a chat in the street of our hometown with some of those who decided to stay in the district. After this project, my life led me to further work as a corporate general manager and chief executive officer, and I worked in Australia and overseas in such places as the UK, I worked in Canada, and I also worked in China. This all sounds pretty okay, but after a while I found that I was looking to instill the virtues and values I'd uncovered in me while working for the not-for-profit into the more commercial entities that I led, and unfortunately at times there was a mismatch. So I decided, after an illness brought on by stress, to commence my own coaching and consultancy business, one in which I was responsible for the values and ethics of the company, where I could deliver coaching, training and mentoring to those people who were facing difficult challenges as managers of people and processes. In other words, I needed to align the personal strengths that I discovered through this role with where I worked. Take note of this, as this is one of the cornerstones of our successful coaching programs. People who are able to discover and utilise their natural strengths, they're happier at work, which leads them to be more productive. Let's see what this has to do with improving performance in your place. Many consulting gurus state that there are no bad people, only bad processes. However, many managers comment to me that if only my people would follow the processes, life would be so much easier. Which is, by the way, my definition of optimum performance. That is, when things feel easy, you're optimizing your performance. Drawing on my experiences as a senior manager, I came to find that many supervisors and managers weren't doing it easy. Mainly due to strong environmental influences, preventing them from accessing relationship tools and not being able to uncover and draw from their arsenal of personal strengths, even though most of them knew there was a better way to get the best out of themselves and their crews. Effectively, due to the stress created by the situation, they were being hijacked by their internal emotional processes, and as a consequence, conflict was inevitable and communication was almost impossible. The alignment between the situations faced by supervisors, superintendents and managers some 15 years ago and the current scenario in the resource sector is direct and very strong. That is, people and process management challenges still occur, as I'm sure you know. So here we are, now talking to you about performance management. And even though we specialise in providing services to the resource sector, we've worked in the not-for-profit area. We've worked with health, education people, and in the SME, or the small to medium enterprise sector, to name a few. This broad experience has proven to us that our specific methods for improving the performance of people and processes are universal. They work across nearly all sectors and organisational structures, and importantly, across cultures. Well, keep your eyes out for some very unique coaching approaches that we've designed in collaboration with some of my resource sector clients and colleagues, and potentially some of the people you know in the industry. And if you have further interest, then let us know by contacting us and telling us your story. We'd be delighted to help you improve your personal or company performance. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to stay in touch with you over the long term to share experiences and knowledge in improving people and process performance. Oh, and if you, your team, or your company believes, like us, that your true competitive advantage is, or could be, built on discovering and utilising the natural strengths of your people, then you should make contact with us and tell us your story, your aspirations, and your desires for a better now and a brighter future. As we say at 8 days a week, we'll help you look over the horizon. Speak to you soon, and bye for now.